welcome to my channel. My name is Irene and today I am back with a brand new speed build video for you. Today I am building my floating vampire castle. Yay! I really wanted to build a vampire thing again. I mentioned that in one of my other videos. I think it was my pirate ship boathouse. Check it out if you want. But well, I mentioned the whole vampire thing. But I also wanted to do something different this time. I've built a lot of vampire houses, vampire manors, all in a Gothic and in a Tudor style. And I think this is also in a Gothic and in a Tudor style. But I still wanted to do something else. I also really wanted to do a floating build again. I've built a floating build a couple of months ago. I've built a floating Disney castle. It's on my gallery. You can download it if you want. My gallery name is the same as the name of the channel. It's TheSimStream, but it's without blank spaces between them, between the words. So you can download it over there. I've had so much fun building that one. I think it was my very first very big build I've uploaded on the gallery. And it got a lot of downloads and yeah, I've liked it and it was so much fun. And I really wanted to do a floating thing again because I think my building has progressed in the last months. And in that build, I've just made the bottom of the floating castle just flat. And I think it doesn't look that good. So I wanted to make a floating castle with big rocks under it, with a very big floating stone with the castle on top of it. I've got inspired to do that because I was searching on Pinterest for pictures of floating castles and there were a lot of floating castles pictures. I totally didn't expect that, but there were. And they were all on very big floating rocks and I think they looked amazing. Very fantasy, very magic. And yeah, I wanted to give that a try. So I combined all these things, the floating thing, the rock thing, the vampire thing, and I came up with my floating vampire castle and you can see the video right now. I've only built the exterior so far. In this video you can only see the build of the exterior. It took me so much time and when I had to put the whole interior part also in this video, the video would be way too long and otherwise it would be way too fast and you weren't able to see what I was doing. So that's why I only built the exterior right now. If you want to see the interior too, please let me know. I will be happy to build it for you. Obviously, for a floating castle with stones under it, you got to have a lot of height and a lot of space under the castle. And as I mentioned before in other speed build videos, you can only build 4 stories high in The Sims. I think that's a little bit limited, but I think it's also a little bit logic because, yeah, I think there has to be a limit on it. I don't know. I actually don't remember if it also was the case in The Sims 1 and 2 and 3. I'm not sure. I've played them all, but I'm not sure. Oh well, doesn't mind. But to build a very high, there's actually a trick for it. And you can see it on the right in this build already. It looks like just a very big white block on the right now. But it's with a very big, a very high foundation under it. I'm placing the stairs in it right now. It's going to be a tower with the stairs, of course, because you have to reach the vampire castle. And I've just raised the foundation up very high, and you can even raise it higher if you want. I thought for my build this was just okay. But you can raise it higher if you want. And then the 4 stories starts on the top of the basement, so you can build your builds way higher. My very first plan was just to build the floating castle, because if you're playing the game as a vampire, you are able to unlock the flying skill or the teleport skill. I'm not sure what's the exact name of the skill, but you're able to teleport and to fly. And I think it's also possible to fly up in the sky and fly to the castle. And I thought that would be amazing to play it as a vampire. Nobody else can reach you. You're all alone. I think that's all, vampire style. You can go on the hunt at night for fresh blood. And you can fly to your castle and it's so safe. And so that was my first plan. But when you're starting as a vampire in the game, you aren't able to fly immediately. So that's why I wanted to build stairs too. And I built them in a tower so they looked better, I think. And in that way you're also able to play in this house and in this build with a sim that isn't a vampire if you wanted to do that. So that's why I chose for the stairs. Of course, if you want, you can remove the stairs when you unlocked the flying skill if you want it. But well, that's all your own choice. As you can see, I've also put a very big clock in the middle of my build. I think that looks so cool. It looks a little bit church and a little bit cathedral. I used the standing clock from the vampire pack. Obviously, I used the vampire pack a lot in this build. And I sized the clock up and I've put it on the second store in the build. And when I'm building the interior, I will place walls around the clock. So it doesn't look like a very, very big object just in the middle of your build. I think when I will put the walls around it, I think I will make it look cool and I think it will be okay. I've placed another clock, just a clockwork from the Get Together pack in the middle of the big standing clock. I think it just looks better, it looks more bright. So that's why I chose that. I chose this very dark and very black color with the gray. My first plan was to use purple or red or a lot of colors, and it was a whole process to choose the colors. I've cut it out totally because it was way too long. But in the end, I went with this very dark and I think more evil looking color. I think when you are a vampire and you have a whole big floating castle, I think you're an evil vampire. I don't know why, but I just think you're an evil vampire, and I think the whole black color was just more fitting. Over here you can see me working on the very big rock at the bottom or the end of the castle, at the bottom of the castle. As I was telling, I think I used the stone tables from the outdoor retreat pack. Oh, I use them so much for all my waterfalls and for all my builds, I think. So I use them over here too. I think it's the same with making waterfalls. The first stone, the first thing that you're placing is the most important. With waterfalls, it's the spraying emitters, the large spraying emitters. But over here, the rocks, I think when you place the very first one at the perfect spot, you can just place all the other ones around it or next to it. Yeah, and I think that's a very good starting point. Over here you can see me place the windows. I use the windows from the Strange Reveal pack. I think they're very fitting for this build. They have a little bit of a church theme. And yeah, of course, the windows from the Vampire pack, they look good. And I even use the windows from the Get Famous pack. I think they also have a gothic feel, a little bit of a Victorian feel. And yeah, I really like that. And yeah, I think the castle is already really coming together right now. In the rest of the video, after the window thing I'm doing right now, you can see me work on the whole landscaping. And in landscaping, I also built a very, very big basement. I really wanted to make it look like a big canyon, and with the water in it, and the whole water like a protecting thing, like what's normally around a castle. In Dutch, the word for that water around the castle normally is gracht. I know it's a strange word with a very hard G in it, but a very hard G. And I looked the word up on, searched the word on Google Translate. And it's translated in canal, but I'm not sure. I thought a canal was a man-made, a very straight line of water. But I mean the water around the castle, around castles normally. And canyon. Over here I'm starting with the bridge. I used the bridge as a starting point, and later on I built a whole canyon around it. I really wanted to build a bridge. I'd really like to push myself to build things that aren't in the game, but we all want in the game, or I would really want to have a bridge in the game. A hanging bridge would be especially amazing for jungle builds, or oh no, that would be amazing, but we have to hope the same with the spiral staircases. But over here I'm creating a bridge. At the end I've gone with these wall decorations for the bridge. I used and tried out a lot of them. I've got the whole process out of the video because it was so long. I've tried them all. And I went with these wall decorations. The previous build I did with a bridge in it. It was my medieval Tudor home, but I really want to go with something else, but they just look the best. When you size them up, they are getting very big very fast, and that's why I think the structure looked better. So, I went with that, and I think the bridge, it looks cool. I think it even looks better when I put some railing in it. And later on, as I was telling, I will put water in this whole canyon. And my first plan was to put chimneys all around the water. And I thought that was a very clever idea. But when I tried it out, you can see later on that I will put all the chimneys in. I put a lot of chimneys in. And I think it just looked strange because the whole smoke and the fog was coming out of the ground and not out of the water. And you would think the whole water would be very foggy. So I removed them all, and I've just placed chimneys under the bridge again. So there's smoke just circling around the bridge, and I think that looks very cool. And in the water I will place a lot of the steam crates. I think you can find the steam crates in the pool tool or in the fountain tool, or in both. I'm not so sure. But I use a lot of them, and I'll place the stone tables from the outdoor retreat pack above them or over them, and they're still working, and it looks so evil and magic, and I really like the results. Over here you can see me creating very big rooms around the whole canyon, and that's where I planned to put all the chimneys in. And I really used a lot, and I think I use way more items now. I found out that if you're holding in the shift key where you're placing an item, it duplicates automatically. So it's so much more easy to place a lot of the same objects just next to each other. And over here you can see me do it. I think it's very easy to use that shift key for placing plants and placing stones. And if you just want to put a lot of items next to each other, it's very easy. But I will change up, or I will remove all the chimneys later on. Always when I'm building pools or fountains and I want to make them look very natural, I use the terrain paint and I place a lot of brown around the whole thing, and I did it with the canyon too. Doing that over here, I think it looks more natural. I think it looks way better. And yeah, in the rest of this video you will see me place a lot of trees and work on the rest of the canyon. And yeah, secretly I'm a little bit proud of the end result this time. And I think I've just said enough for this video. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. If you have some questions for me about how I've built things, I could make tutorials about specific things, please let me know. I've made a tutorial about how to make waterfalls just last week. I could make them about floating castles too, or underwater houses. Just let me know. I had so much fun making that tutorial. It was something else for me to do, and yeah, it was so much fun. So if you want something like that, please let me know, or have some other questions or suggestions, put them down in the comments. Yeah, and I really hope to talk to you very soon. Have an amazing day and goodbye.